Fine, Victor replied as he began moving his hand away from his holster. I'll leave it for the time being. I suppose I have more to talk about with Reginald. That asshole. I can't believe he let us just walk right in here, knowing that we were gunning for his old lady. What an ass. Oh, so my Reggikins tried to save you, did he? Yes, that sounds like him. Excuse me? Victor said, glancing over my shoulder. Could you run that by me one more time? What, Reggikins? Victor began to laugh furiously. Reggikins? Really? That's what the devil gets called by his wife. Oh, I think I might die laughing. Oh, I'm gonna call him that from now on. I wouldn't advise it, Alice replied. My husband only lets me call him that. You might find yourself on the wrong end of a bad situation. Oh no, I don't care. I'm calling him Reggikins from now on. Hey, Reggikins, how have things been going? Do you need me to tuck you in, Mr. Reggikins? A warm glass of milk and some num-nums? Victor said, practically rolling in laughter, which I wasn't going to argue against. He was at least no longer all riled up about not being able to take out Alice. As he laughed, something else occurred to me as I looked over to Alice. Oh, hey, where exactly is all of my liquid steel? I sort of lost track of it, I said as I stared about, still standing in that center space, looking out into the vast whirling madness that was all of the countless rooms of this near endless mansion, pulling themselves apart and putting themselves back together again in different alignments and arrangements. It was like that weird painting you see at an art museum, where they have stores, stairs, doorways and passages, upside down, sideways and at angles, all over the place. None of it seems to make any sense. Yeah, sort of like that. Except this one pulled itself apart and put itself back together again. You could constantly hear the low-level sound of wood and stone tearing and breaking as things tore apart and reformed. Oh, well, I suppose it's somewhere out there. The mansion is still here, it's just a swirl in the madness of Wonderland. I suffused my mage space with energy from Wonderland, and Wonderland energy is, let's call it, unstable. It tends to make things wishy-washy, sort of shifty and never in the same place. But I assume it's out there somewhere. Okay, so let me give this a shot, I said as I extended my arm upwards, trying to do my best to call out to the liquid steel, see if it was in range to hear me, I suppose you could say. As, after a few seconds of focusing, whirls of liquid metal began to pull themselves out of the debris and movement of the disoriented field of things, pulling themselves in towards the center, beginning to gather above me in a sphere, before finally I had reaccumulated most of what I had lost. Even the pieces that I left on Hysteria broke down and returned to me, until all of it was back. Afterwards, I brought it down to float in front of me. It's gonna take forever to rebuild the suit. Crap. I don't get it, Rebecca replied. Why don't you just put it back together like you do with all your other liquid metal stuff? Sorry, it doesn't work that way. Simple shapes are easy, but fine-tuned, delicate, and intricate things take a lot longer to produce. A lot more fine details. Basically, simple things easy, detailed things hard. It basically took me nearly 2 weeks to do this thing. And now I'm gonna have to do it again. Put it back together piece by piece. It's gonna suck. And after I just put it together. For now, I suppose I'll have to go with the more simple armor, I said, as I focused, beginning to form the suit around me. The much more basic design that I had been using before. It worked, but as I once again donned the old-style armor, it immediately made me miss the newer, more up-to-date version. My movement's so much harder in this. Okay, I suppose that takes care of that. Now, if you wouldn't mind, could I have my heavy metal spirit back? Your what? Alice replied, cocking an eyebrow as she looked at me. You know, the thing that you had that rabbit take away, locked it into a big pocket watch? Oh, the creature you summoned. You said it's a heavy metal spirit? Yeah, Mom, I'll explain it to you later. It's basically his summoning, but unlike ours, it doesn't go away after it's summoned. Actually, he eats it, which is very interesting. Yes, that would explain him vomiting it up. But I suppose there's no problem with letting you have it back, Alice said as she looked to the side, a purple glow coming over her as the pocket watch appeared floating in the air towards the center of the room. Suddenly, a large ticking sound emoted from it as ripples ebbed out into the air around. The pocket watch flew open and a burst of light shot out of it, streaking across the room and clattering to the ground with an explosion, kicking up dust and debris. As with another flash, something quickly impacted the ground right next to the watch, as once again that massive white-furred rabbit appeared, this time down on all fours, its teeth bared, razor sharp, practically glistening as streams of drool ran from its mouth. It had a mad look in its eye as it sat there crouched on the ground cackling.
Another time round, another again. Round and round and round we spin. Play a game of death with me, why don't you? You've wasted my time, so why shouldn't I waste my time on you?
It exclaimed as its large claws dug into the ground below, looking practically rabid. I'm serious, this rabbit looked jacked. You could see its muscle fibers rippling under the fur, and that big, sharp, toothy smile. Its ears flapping and twitching, one direction then the next as it stared out at the other side of the room. As in a burst of wind, the heavy metal spirit emerged, having what appeared to be more than a dozen arms, all of them taking the form of razor-sharp blades, as a high-pitched screech emoted from it, echoing through the room. It was ear-grating to say the least. As the heavy metal spirit took stock of the room, it saw me, and in an instant it began bolting in my direction, breaking itself down into a stream of liquid metal, wrapping its form around me, as its countless limbs extended out, returning back to blade forms, as they pointed in the direction of Alice and the big rabbit behind her. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Calm down, spirit. Things are all settled. We're not fighting anymore. A high-pitched squeal emoted from the heavy metal spirit as it looked down to me, the vibrations causing sort of an undulation in its form. Apparently it had picked up how to make some sort of noise, as a type of emote. As I tried to calm it down, it looked, I guess you could say, agitated. It's okay, buddy. The fight's over. We're safe now. No one's killing anyone anymore. Hello, Mr. Bunny. Rabbit. Sorry to have taken up your time, but things have been settled.
I was just beginning to have fun, but I suppose all things come to an end, Queen Alice,
it said as its tension finally began to subside, returning back to a standing position as the rippling muscles seemed to subside as well. It stood up, straightening its vest.
Will that be all, Queen Alice?
Yes, Mr. Rabbit. Thank you for your assistance. As I said before, I'll return you to Wonderland in the exact moment that I took you.
Yes, you have always been true to your word, Alice. It's one of the things that I like about you. respect for the time of others. Perhaps I'll see you again soon. Come visit I in the Hatter. It's been a very long time since you've danced in Wonderland.
Certainly. I'll drop by sometime. Good day, Rabbit, she said as she raised her hand, and a massive purple seal appeared above the rabbit as he clutched his pocket watch, tucking it back away inside of his vest. And in a flash of purple light, he was gone. Well, that has to be the most terrifying rabbit I've ever heard of. The one in the story was adorable. What are you talking about? Alice replied. Mr. Rabbit is adorable. You don't think he's adorable? No, Alice. No, I don't, I replied as I hung my head a bit. This is not the day I was expecting.